News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Missoula City Council deals a blow to the Historic Preservation Commission yesterday. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Thursday, July 14th, 2016. In France, it would be Bastille Day today. Right now, the sky is clear. We have 46 degrees. It is a beautiful morning in western Montana. Newscast this morning sponsored by Kootenai Creek Village, the maintenance-free active adult community in Stevensville. With the best of western Montana living, call 777-5387. This morning's top story in Missoula, the City Council's Land Use and Planning Committee dealt a blow to the Historic Preservation Commission yesterday by voting 10-1 that the organization was in error when it denied a permit to demolish the Missoula Mercantile Building. Councilor Emily Bentley summed up the vote.
I find a preponderance of evidence that there are mistakes or errors in the findings of fact, so I can't support it. And I look forward to continuing the process, probably to develop our own findings of fact. And we really need to do that because no matter which way the final outcome goes, this is going to be probably litigated somehow or other.
The developer, Home Base Montana, will appear before the Land Use and Planning Committee next week to offer options on how to continue forward with the process. Their original plan was to demolish the building to make way for a residence hotel by Marriott at that site. A Missoula man charged with sexual assault after telling his probation officer he molested a young girl has been sentenced to 25 years in prison with 10 years suspended. The Missoulian newspaper reports that 28-year-old David Bruce was sentenced Tuesday after pleading guilty to the sexual assault charge as part of a plea deal. He was also ordered to complete sex offender treatment. Bruce had admitted to molesting the girl in April. He allegedly told authorities he had engaged in that type of behavior for several months. Bruce had been charged after being given a 3-year deferred prison sentence for assaulting a minor in a separate case back in 2013. Court documents say Bruce had dropped a 3-month-old and bit the baby on the face to stop the child from crying. New Colstrip owners and Sierra Club of the Montana Environmental Information Center announced earlier this week the eventual shutdown of Colstrip Units 1 and 2 on or before the year 2022. Reactions varied. However, Montana Governor Steve Bullock joined Senator Steve Daines and others who were devastated by that news.
I stand with the workers and the community of Colstrip in being angry about the settlement outcome. Look, the parties of this lawsuit took care of themselves. I'm going to work to take care of the employees and their families. The task before us is large but achievable. We will protect the people of Colstrip and their families. We'll keep energy flowing out of Colstrip, and we can harness the energy jobs of the future without propping up out-of-state corporations with taxpayer resources.
Governor Bullock is reaching out to community leaders, including Colstrip Mayor John Williams, Senator Dwayne Ankeny, and Representative Geraldine Custer, to tell them that the state will continue to have discussions about options for the units at Colstrip. Now, in a related story, with owners of Colstrip Units 1 and 2, quote, hemorrhaging money, end quote, David Schlissel with the Institute for Energy Economics said the announcement that the units would be mothballed within the next few years was fully expected.
With regards to the retirement of Units 1 and 2, it's no surprise. I mean, we did an analysis in June of last year that showed that continued operations of Units 1 and 2 was not economic for the shareholders of Talon Energy, who own half of the plant, and for the ratepayers of Puget Sound.
Schlissel, who referred to the coal plants as, quote, dinosaurs, end quote, said it was just a matter of time and simple economics for the investor-owned companies to close those plants.
Simply, the cost of generating power at the units was and is more expensive than the price at which the power can be sold. For Talon Energy, that means they're losing a lot of money on the plant. And for Puget Sound Energy, it means that their ratepayers could save if the company were buying power from the market instead of generating it at Colstrip 1 and 2.
Schlissel said Montana officials, including Governor Steve Bullock, may try to throw up roadblocks to the closure, wasting state time and resources trying to undermine the inevitable. Such tactics, he said, could slow access to more constructive paths forward that include investing in economic initiatives that are far more promising than coal. An environmental group has filed a federal lawsuit contending that 26 dams operating in Idaho, Washington, Oregon, and here in Montana are harming bull trout and violating the Endangered Species Act. The lawsuit filed by the Alliance for the Wild Rockies on Monday in Portland names the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, and Bonneville Power Administration as defendants. The Alliance says that 3 federal agencies have failed to complete required consultations with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service on how to operate the dams in areas designated as critical bull trout habitat. The group is asking a judge to force the agencies to complete those consultations that could lead to changes at the dams benefiting the federally protected bull trout. And the Montana Fish and Wildlife Commission will keep the quota of wolves that can be hunted or trapped just north of Yellowstone Park to 2. The commission yesterday rejected a proposal to double the limit to 4 wolves over 250 square mile area around the town of Gardner. There are no wolf quotas in the state except for areas adjacent to Yellowstone and Glacier National Parks. Fish, Wildlife, and Parks Agency officials originally sought a 6-wolf limit near Yellowstone, but the commission also rejected that plan back in May. Hunters complain that wolves kill too many elk that they'd like to hunt in that area. Wildlife advocates and park officials argue wolves that range in and around Yellowstone need additional protections. At a meeting Tuesday night in Pablo, the Salish and Kootenai tribes laid out their proposed legislation to assume control of the National Bison Range in Moise. The opposing view is held by outdoor author and activist Susan Campbell-Renaud, who said the tribe has already been paid for the wildlife refuge twice.
The land that is the National Bison Range was purchased by the taxpayers twice at fair market value, even though the CSKT government likes to say that they were not paid enough.
Campbell-Renaud said this project is only the beginning in an organized effort to wrest control of public lands across the country.
You have political candidates right now across the state of Montana and all over the country saying that they want to see the states take over control of the federal government because they can do it better. You have individuals, you have special interest groups all over that want to take over bits and pieces. And what this would be is a destruction of the national parks, the national refuges, the national forests.
At Tuesday's meeting, though, officials maintained that this standalone proposal is not part of such an organized plan. No one in the Montana congressional delegation has yet stepped forward to sponsor that legislation. Finally, the U.S. Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy weighed in on the hit Broadway musical Hamilton and on the death of fellow Justice Antonin Scalia during a recent visit to Montana. The Bozeman Daily Chronicle reports the 79-year-old Kennedy spoke to a crowd of hundreds gathered at Big Sky Resort earlier this week. He also shared his thoughts on how the internet and selfies have impacted civil discourse and tales from his time working in eastern Montana oil fields as a teenager. He also called Hamilton a splendid way to reinforce American heritage and civics and remembered Scalia as a man with a magnificent mind. The lighthearted conversation was part of the opening ceremony for the annual 9th Circuit Judicial Conference, which runs through today. News Talk time now, 6:13.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Ample sunshine today with our high temperatures in the low 80s. Winds will stay fairly light at 3 to 6 miles per hour. Mostly clear this evening. Clouds and a slight chance of a thunderstorm Friday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.